Jeremiah 20. So there's this priest called Pashur who then heard Jeremiah prophesizing about the broken jar, about the evil, the mourning, and the grotesque things that will happen when parents are just doing wicked things to their children. And then he locked him up, and not only that, I think he beat him. Yeah, he beat him, and then he locked him up, and then the next day Jeremiah would release, but then Jeremiah prophesied against him that he and his family will be captive, and then his eyes will look on, and his friends will fall by the sword of the enemies, and he will look to see all of this that Jeremiah prophesies will come true. And then Jeremiah then complained to the Lord that God persuaded him, and he was persuaded by God. God prevailed against him because he, even though he wants to, he prophesies the words of the Lord, but he became a laughing stock. People taunt him, and then because he proclaimed violence and destruction, but then if he doesn't want to speak, if he doesn't want to say the things that the Lord put in his heart, then it becomes like a burning fire shut up in his bones, where he is tired of holding it in and cannot endure it until he speaks it. But then when he speaks it, then people laugh at him and mock him and even beat him, and then even his trusted friends watch his fall, but then he remembered how God is with him like a powerful champion, and God even said to him that they will not prevail against him. So he will, even though God said that his persecutor will not prevail against him, that doesn't mean he won't get bodily injury. Obviously, we saw right here that God just a few chapters back says that they will not prevail against you. But Jeremiah was beaten, Jeremiah was in prison, Jeremiah was mocked, and so the humiliation and the conflict is still there. They're not gonna be they're not gonna go away. However, we know that ultimately Jeremiah will be the one that speaks the truth, and they will see their falsehood with their own eyes. However, then Jeremiah then asked God to pretty much set vengeance on them, and then he started. So he first started off complaining, but then he started to praise the Lord because the Lord is his champion, and that the Lord saved the soul of the needy one. But then he went back into lamentation mode, where he's he wished he wasn't born. The news of his birth shouldn't have been good news to his father. He wished that the person that brought the news would have killed him before his birth. Why did he ever come out of the womb to look at trouble and sorrows, so that his days are spent in shame? And I think I feel that way. I felt there was a point in my life where I felt why was I ever born? Life, there's nothing really good in life, and I feel like babies are born crying because they know that this is not where they want to be. So why are people born into this earth? It feels like a punishment, and so I don't really understand why there are so many people who are so greedy for life here on earth. But so I understand Jeremiah, but so he's just really distressed, and he felt his life is just spent in shame, just people mocking at him, people not believing in him. His trusted friend doesn't care about him, they don't believe him, and God gave him a hard task to do. But yeah, that's Jeremiah's life.